The Properties palette by default is open and docked to the left side of the screen in Revit. Before we talk about what's going on within the Properties palette, let's talk about how it shows up on the screen. So it is possible to click this X and the Properties palette goes away. To make that come back, we go to the View tab, and there's a User Interface drop down on the far right. We can turn Properties back on. You'll notice in the tooltip here that we can type PP also on the keyboard to make it come back. In addition to it showing up, it has the ability to be in different locations, so it doesn't have to be docked to the left side of the screen. People with multiple monitors will often take the Properties palette and the project browser, which we'll talk about in the next video, and position those on the second screen, giving more modeling area on the first screen. So in addition to this Properties palette being able to be moved around, it can be docked to the other side of the screen. It can also be docked in different ways. So if I let go here with my cursor in just the right spot, I can dock the palette on top of the project browser. This gives me more information at one given time, but then the other palette is hidden while I'm looking at the one I'm using. And so you can see if you're not careful with how you drag and drop this, you can have some odd results. So by dragging at the top, when the two are stacked together, it moves them together. If I drag the tab where the two are overlapped, then it just moves the one palette for the tab that I was moving it on. So here they are side by side, which takes up a lot of screen real estate. And then the last option, and we have to move this just right so that we see an outline of the tool palette where it was originally on the top half of the screen. Now when I let go, it looks like when we first started this video. So now what's going on inside the tool palette? When nothing is selected in the Revit model, all the information that you see here is for the current Revit view. So you can have multiple views open at one time. In this case, you can see I have 3 views open, and depending on which view is current, you see the information change. Most of the time we keep the views maximized. So to a new user, it might not be obvious that this applies to the current view and not perhaps the entire project. So when nothing's selected in the Revit model, we have view-related properties such as the scale and the detail level and whether shadows are turned on or not. And then when something is selected in the model, like this door, for example, or this piece of exercise equipment, we see the properties related to that selected element, what phase it was created in, what level it's on. And at the very top of the Properties palette, we have this very pivotal feature in Revit called the Type Selector. So this is something that's used with the placement of nearly all new content, and then it's used a lot once content is created to modify the content or swap it out with something similar. So in this case, if I click the drop down, I see all the content that happens to be in the specialty equipment category. And I can replace this item with anything in this list. You can see right below the type selector, it's telling me that this item is in the specialty equipment category. I'll hit escape to unselect that item in the model, and now I'll select a door. So in the type selector, we can see there are different door styles and sizes that I can select from. And then the properties, I see information related to the door.